outside. We're 50 miles off the west coast of Vancouver Island. In today's show, we're going to do some excellent rockfish recipes. So stick around, we'll be right back. We're ready. What we're going to do now is we're going to plate this up. Coming up on lunchtime, so I'm going to grab some fish. We're going to go in and make some lunch. I'm the skipper of this offshore fishing vessel. It's an 80-foot trawler. I've been fishing wild BC rockfish on this coast for over 20 years. My family has been involved in the industry for over 3 generations. Think we learned any secrets about cooking wild BC seafood? You bet we have. Come with me and I'll show you some product. I'm here at Steveston, BC, Canada, at the Steveston Landing Fish Store, which is owned by a pioneer in the fishing industry, particularly the rockfish industry, Vigo Mark. Vigo, when did you first start fishing rockfish in BC?
1956.
1956. I guess a few things have changed since then, eh?
Oh, yes.
But one thing probably hasn't changed, Vigo, that's what tells someone that this is quality.
You look at the gills, look at the eyes, see the clear eyes and red gills.
Okay, so that's...
firmness of the flesh.
So then you tell me to look at this. So look, what am I looking at? When I look at the gills and you say red.
They got to be uniform color.
Uniform color?
Yes.
Okay, and then you went like this with the flesh. What does that tell you?
Tells me that the fish are fresh.
So like if you push down on it and it kind of bounces right back?
That's right.
Then it's fresh?
Fresh fish.
What we're going to do now is we're going to take you out and we're going to show you how this wonderful BC product is harvested. We traveled to the port of Ucluelet on board the trawl vessel Miss Tatum. When fishing on the BC coast in early December, weather is definitely a factor. Hey, we got lucky.
Outlook, moderate to strong east to northeast wind.
I'm here in the wheelhouse of Miss Tatum with Skipper Clayton Odberg. Morning, Clayton.
Morning, Paul.
Hey, thanks for having us aboard here. Really
no
appreciate
problem.
it. Hey, Clayton, we want to explain to our viewers, basically a little bit about the history. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I started doing this about 35 years ago.
How long has trawling been on BC coast?
Oh, well, at least 75 years.
75 years, so that's quite a while. Clayton, as you and I both know, there's 2 methods of catching rockfish. One of them is pelagic, and the other one is...
Just bottom trawl.
Bottom trawl. So with the pelagic trawl, we're going to go target...
Well, midwater species like greenies or brownies. Hake is a big fishery, although we're not targeting that this trip.
Right, and our bottom trawl fishing, we're targeting...
Sole, different types of sole, cod, and other rockfish that tend to be on bottom.
How much of these greenies can you take?
Well, we have a quota, an individual vessel quota, and that's for the year.
So like your quota would be different than my quota?
Exactly.
Exactly, so like you could have more or less. But once we get to that quota, we stop fishing.
Yeah, we stop.
Maybe we can tell our viewers about the electronics and what we're looking at here.
Okay, so this is our bottom sounder. It tells us what's right below the boat. So here we have fish. This would be the bottom right here. We're at 68 fathoms. And then here, this is a net sounder. It's on the net. This is the bottom. This is the bottom of the net. And this is the top of the net. And there's a school of fish gone in the net.
That was just a small example of how this wonderful BC product is harvested. You know, those guys on the Miss Tatum, they were great. Mark, the cook on the Miss Tatum, showed me a quick, easy recipe, which we're going to try to get to. But there's a question we're going to answer. And that question is, when can you get this wild BC product fresh? Well, we're going to answer that question and a whole lot more by the end of the show. So stick around. We'll be right back. These are the fish that we're going to be using in today's recipes. This is a banded rockfish. There's over 38 different types of rockfish that are commercially harvested on BC's coast. This we're going to do whole, and we're going to bake it in the oven. This is nice white flaky meat. Oh, I can hardly wait till we get to that. This is a petroli sole, also known as a brill sole. This we're going to end up doing in fillets. So we're going to do a quick, simple, easy pan fry. We want to scale it. So we always scale towards the head. Okay, up towards the head. Incision so you have some place to hold it. And pull the skin and the knife towards it. Just slowly rock and roll. Rock and roll, push two. Twisting. Okay. There's our fillets. Look how nice and white and clear that meat is. Now that is fresh. That is quality. And this is how you should and will find it at your local fishmonger. And if you look, take a quick look inside this meat that I cut down the backside of this bandit. See how nice and firm that meat is? See very little blood along the line? This is a well taken care of fish. You know, fishermen do a lot to ensure that these fish get to the store in top quality. I'll show you what I mean. From the time a fish leaves the ocean, the quality can never improve. It can only be maintained or lost. That is why from the moment it leaves the water, fishermen are focused on ensuring it is handled properly and stored at correct temperatures.
Well, as soon as we catch the fish, we try to get them into the fish hole as quickly as possible. And what we have on here is slushed water. We have ice in water, and we try to keep the core temperature of the fish at about 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. And to do that, we have to keep our water at about 0 to -1. When we offload our fish, they're put into totes that have ice in the bottom, and then they put top ice on them, and the fish is put into refrigerated trucks and brought to the fish plant where they're cut and refrigerated again and sent to market that same day. Quality is the most important thing for us. Is what we're trying to do is deliver a good product. Because if the consumer has a good experience and enjoys our product, we get paid more. Bottom line, you know, you don't look after your fish, you don't get paid.
So let's take these top quality products inside and do some top-notch recipes. Get in there. And we'll put a little bit in there. Welcome to the kitchen. Our galley, as us mariners like to call it. Today we're going to be doing a drunken rockfish. This is our rockfish. Hey, this is how we're going to get them drunk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on the side. I'm going to place them over here. We're going to start off by chopping up our vegetables, our ingredients for this recipe. We're going to start off with our garlic. In this recipe, we're going to be using 3 cloves of garlic. We have our garlic chopped up. And next we're going to do is we're going to do 1 onion. And we're just going to take the skin off of the onion. You can see by our ingredients, here we have a little bit of chili peppers. We have some oregano. You can put in a little dill if you want. Sometimes I put the dill in, sometimes I don't. Cilantro, sliced olives, and some tomatoes, onions, and garlic. Basically, it's simple. Did you know that 90% of our rockfish is exported? The Americans just love this stuff. Canada is the lowest consuming country in the world of seafood products. You know, and how simple and basic this stuff is. You're going to run down to your nearest fish store and you're going to go and buy one of these rockfish. Okay, onions are done. Next, we want to do our tomatoes. We have 4 tomatoes. Okay, the end parts are off. Oh, one last one. End parts are off. We're going to just dice those up. We have our vegetables chopped up. I'm just going to chop up a little bit of cilantro. And this is for the end of the dish. We're just going to chop that up nice and fine. Cilantro's done. We're just going to take that off the board and put that over there. Put our drunken rockfish here. And what we're going to do is we're going to season our drunken rockfish with some sea salt that we use. I'm going to pour that into the cavity. A little bit of sea salt in the cavity. And that slit that I made, we're going to put a little sea salt in there on both sides. A little bit on the outside. Pat it down. Pat it down. And the thing I'll do here is I'm going to make the bandit a little bit more of a bandit. See, it's nice red stripes. We're going to put a little cut in the meat there. And one little cut in the meat there. So we can get a little bit of salt in there. Just push it in. Flip it over. And put a little bit of lemon pepper in here. We're going to take our garlic cloves. And we're going to stuff our garlic cloves inside there. And in there. And we'll put a little bit in there. And we're going to take our drunken rockfish We're going to put them in the baking dish. Yeah. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the stove. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil into the pan, and we're going to saute the vegetables and stuff. So just stick around. We'll be right back.
I don't know how many boats there were there, but there was lots. Like a city out there at nighttime. See all the lights in the distance. And they were there all the time. One would leave, another one would take its place. They just continually harvested the fish.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans manages the BC trawl fishery in cooperation with the groundfish trawl license holders and the Canadian Groundfish Research and Conservation Society. This cooperative is responsible for overseeing all activities related to the fishery. This includes setting the annual TACs, or total allowable catches, for each species of groundfish. The TACs are based on ongoing scientific research and stock assessments, which includes data collection of all the fishing activities through 100% at-sea observer coverage and 100% dockside monitoring of the landed catch. Rockfish are highly versatile when cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to take our hot pan, we're going to put maybe a tablespoon, a little more of olive oil, and we're going to saute our onions and garlic in our pan. And what we want to do is we just want to make them translucent, as they say. We don't want to brown them. We're just going to saute them in the pan. Okay, our onions and our garlic are nicely translucent. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in our spices. And what we have is we have a little bit of oregano and some chili peppers, and you can add a little bit of dill. So we're just going to add that quickly. Just stir that around. Just nice and quickly. Next thing we're going to add is we're going to add our tomatoes. We're going to put our tomatoes in there, our diced seeded tomatoes. Okay, we're going to saute that a little bit. Next, we're going to add our half a cup of wine, red wine. Any dry red wine will do, BC preferred, and half a cup of water. So we're going to drop that in there. There's our drunken sauce. Now we're going to put that, make sure that's on high heat, and we're going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Next, we're just going to add the olives, our sliced olives, half a cup roughly, sliced olives. You can add a little more. We're going to mix that in. Just going to saute that for a second. Going to bring our rockfish over. Okay, so that's sauteed, and what we're going to do is we're going to pour this over top of our rockfish. Move them around there. Put this in there. We're going to grab the lid, which is over here, fold its tail in a bit. We're going to pop this in the oven at 350, 375. Okay, so that's going to be in the oven for about 30 minutes, max. Well, before we get started on our sole, let me take you back to the Miss Tatum, where Mark, the cook on the boat, showed us a Dover sole recipe that I thought was pretty unique. Morning, I'm here with Mark, who's the cook on the Miss Tatum. And Mark's got it's kind of a different recipe. You know how everybody likes to have their cornflakes in the morning? Well, I think we're having cornflakes and fish. What are we doing?
Well, exactly. That Dover sole that we filled it up yesterday out on deck there, we're going to get some eggs into a bowl, scramble them up, dip the sole into the egg, and then we're going to dip it into some cornflake crumbs and then into the frying pan. And then we're going to do some hash browns, some eggs, some toast, and that'll be it for the boys for breakfast.
So we're kind of having everything all in one meal.
That's right.
So we're sole men.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So our Dover sole, Mark.
Yeah.
What's the key to frying a good Dover sole?
Well, as you can see here, the Dover sole is pretty thin, so as soon as you dip it in and crumb it up, and then when you get to the hot frying pan, it's got to be hot, okay?
Especially with thin fish. Okay, I think your eggs, you want them a little thinner than this, Mark?
Oh, that's good.
There you go, bud.
Throw a little bit more oil in here. You can see we're smoking here. There we go. Into the egg, into the cornflake crumbs, into the pan.
So like if you wanted to make that a little crispier, you can use flour too if you wanted to. You can go flour, egg, and then back into the cornflakes, and then you'd have a real crispy crust, just like deep fried. How long would that take, Mark, on one side?
Probably 2 minutes at the tops. 2 minutes tops one side. You flip her over so It's not going to burn. And probably about a minute on the other side, not even. Okay, we'll just let that go, and I'm going to start on the eggs here.
This is what we call over easy.
As long as it gets into the pan.
It's a good thing we're not rocking and rolling.
Let's have
one more?
Yeah, we'll throw 6 in there, why not? Okay, there we go. We're going to let those go for a bit. Just going to put a little water in here so they steam a little easier.
How's that fish doing?
Well, just about time to flip it here. There we
Oh,
go. Look at that. Brown. Geez.
Golden cornflake brown.
Oh, that looks good.
You know, all the years I've been out here, I've never tried that one. Okay, we're going to plate this up now.
There we go.
How's those eggs, bud?
Oh, eggs are good. They're done.
Right on. Okay, we're going to put a little potatoes on this plate. Come over and get our egg.
There we go.
We're going to come over here. We're going to put a couple slices of tomatoes and a little bit of parsley on top of the potato. A soul man's breakfast. What more could you ask for?
Toast.
Toast! There you have it. Hash brown potatoes, done a little bit of paprika to give them that golden color in olive oil. Then we have our fillets of Dover sole, done with cornflake crumbs and topped with a sunny side up egg. Hey, a breakfast all in one. Your cornflakes and fish. But don't go away, because we got fisherman stew coming up for lunch. Yeah. Just take a look at it. Oh, I think he's just about ready. Here we are, beautiful BC, out here 50 miles offshore. Coming up on lunchtime. So I'm going to grab some fish and we're going to go in and make some lunch. Usually when it's like this, I cut back on my sea salt. Cover that liberally with sea salt. And put that in the bucket. Okay, in the pot I'm adding a little bit of olive oil. Since it's such a big pot and we do have lots of fish, add a little bit more olive oil. We're going to dump all our garlic and our onions in. We're going to simmer that. Stir that up. Okay, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a stock to take this off the stove here. Got a little problem with one of our cameramen. You see, she's blowing about, I don't know, 25, 30 northwest. So we're kind of doing a little buck into it as we're heading back to kill it. I think our cameraman's doing a little buck into it over the side right now. So we're on pause. That's the problem, doing it out offshore. It's too bad we didn't get to finish that fish in the pot recipe, because that was a great one. But hey, the cameraman never did come back. So let's get started on that petroli recipe that we have for you today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to season this with a little bit of sea salt. I love to use sea salt, maybe because I'm a fisherman. A little bit of pepper. Okay, we're going to put that aside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to use half of our green pepper. We're going to use half of our red pepper. We're going to take the seeds out. Take the seeds out. We're going to just slice that down each side. And we're just going to dice that up. Okay, that's diced up. We have our garlic. Garlic is diced up nice. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our tomato. Okay, our diced tomato. What we're going to do, we're just going to cut these up into manageable pieces for the frying pan. I like to have a little smaller pieces so we can flip them easier. Now we're just going to fry these up. Come with me. Just going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Just mix it around. We're going to get it nice and hot. This is the key to cooking any fish. Just make sure your oil's hot. With olive oil, of course, there is a lower temperature before it starts to burn. So you have to watch it. We're just going to fry our nice petroli sole pieces about 2 minutes max on one side. Watch it. You don't want to overcook fish. It's the biggest mistake that everybody makes. Just going to flip these pieces over. Each one. Oh, look at that. Look how simple this is. Watch. Gonna add our white wine. Half a cup dry white wine. We're gonna add our garlic. We're gonna add our tomatoes, our green peppers, our red peppers. We're gonna add 1 2, maybe 3. Splash of Tabasco. Just going to mix that around a bit. There we go. We're going to let that simmer for another 2 minutes. When that's done, we're going to take the fish out. Our fish has been in there for roughly 4 minutes max. Okay, so we're going to take our fish out. We're going to put this all on one big plate here. We're going to, our last piece. We're just going to let these vegetables simmer and stew for about another 4 minutes, 5 minutes max. Okay, that's done. That's reduced by about 50%. So now we're going to take it off the stove, and we're just going to pour that nicely over top of our petroli sole fillets. And there you have it. Let's go check our rockfish. It's been in there for about 25 minutes. Let's see if that sucker's drunk yet. We're just gonna put the fork into the meat. Oh, and I can feel it go right down into the bone. That's done. So we're going to take our little drunken fellow out and set it on the counter. There you have it. Baked whole BC wild rockfish, garnished with a little bit of cilantro, pan-fried petroli sole, garnished with a little bit of parsley. Let's go back down to Vigo's store to answer that question. At what time of year can you get these wonderful BC products? Well, Vigo's going to answer that. Vigo, when can you get this?
All year. You can buy this fish all year long. We got it all the time.
All year long. So get down to your local fishmonger and buy some of this wonderful BC product. That's it for this show, so we'll see you next time on The Wild Side.